Hey there, fellow YouTube viewer. If you're a fan of Wagnertube, you probably saw his new merch drop. And you may not have noticed that me and him both did a collaborative attempt on this merch. This is, I believe, wave 3 of his merch line, and we had a lot of fun working on it. And I thought, what better way to celebrate the drop and spread some awareness about it than to make a video going about the process. Today, me and Wagnertube are going to be going over all the designs we made and the process of how we made them. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, let's just get straight into it.
Hello everyone, it's me, Wagnertube, and welcome back to another video. Oh wait, we're on CJ's channel.
Wagner, what did I say about taking over my channel? We can't be doing this. You have 20,000 subscribers. Why do you need mine?
Well, welcome to CJ's video. So as you all probably know, my new wave of Wagnertube merchandise released. And for the first time in Wagnertube merch history, I actually collaborated with someone on it. My good old friend CJ's Will helped me with some of the designs. And he invited me onto his video to talk about some of the designs I did. So, yeah, I guess we'll get into it.
The first design that I made was a clothing design for Wagnertube's movie Partners in Arms. One thing that you'll notice I did throughout this entire thing was I drew them all out on paper first, and then I put them into an app called Procreate, and I drew on top of them to get a base layout. The reason I did this is because I do not have an Apple Pencil in the moment, so I had to finger paint all of them. All of the drawings you see that I made, they were all done by finger, and this isn't me bragging, it's a cry for help, because that was one of the worst experiences of my life. Making the merch was fun and all, but doing it with my finger alone, it wasn't fun under any circumstances. But I did enjoy the final results, and I think they came out pretty good. This one was difficult because before we started anything, we had to make a design for Henry, and then we had to put it into this little poster thing. And I think it turned out pretty well for what it was. This was the least difficult one I did, but it was still a challenge to say the least.
First up, we got the Wagnertube hanging out at the beach design. This was actually the first design that was created for Wave 3 and probably the simplest. I mean, besides the Omega Fredbear design. It's a pretty simple design with Wagnertube just standing at the beach. It was a pretty obvious starter design to do for Wave 3 because, you know, it basically represents the whole summer wave.
The next piece of merch that I designed was the Wagnertube ice cream truck design. I'm really proud of how this one turned out, as it took probably the second most work out of all the designs I did. If you look at the flavors list on the side, I added a bunch of different ice cream flavors as an homage to Wagnertube's channel as a whole. We have references to people such as CJ's Will, myself, Yokai Legend, Adam Station X, Lago227, Omega Fredbear, Non-Shadow, Bond Boy, Random Boy, and Geo the Epic. Those are all people who are very important to the Wagnertube channel, and I thought, what better way to show off some of the Wagnertube OGs than to add them in a Wagnertube design? So I decided to add those little references. Now let's get on to the main ice cream truck. The first thing I had to do before I designed any of the background or the characters in front was get the basic layout for what I wanted the truck to look like. So I had to design the truck as a whole first. The vehicles are a little bit challenging for me to draw, but after using some very handy reference photos, I think I finally got it. After doing all of this, I drew Wagnertube into the picture, and after I got all of the base drawings done, I decided it was finally time to start coloring. I colored in everything to match the Wagnertube color scheme, and after I did all of this, it was finally time to start on the background. To do this, I experimented with a lot of different brushes and colors to add to the background to make it very vibrant. I think in the end, I succeeded, and I really love how this one turned out.
Second thing we have is the Wagnertube in the ocean design. It was exclusively made for the water bottle because, you know, water. Little on the nose if you think. I thought it'd be pretty, you know, just cheesy and goofy to do.
The next piece of merch that I designed was a remaster of one of the existing designs. The Omega Fredbear How Does It Feel design is a classic among Wagnertube fans. Not only is Omega Fredbear himself an important character in the Wagnertube universe, but also the quote itself has become very iconic and recognizable among people who watch Wagnertube. I decided for this one, I really needed to capture what the first one did, but also try and improve it as much as possible. I started with taking the original layout and trying to make my design as faithful to the original as possible. I decided to use many different tools and lighting ideas to make the design pop and make it really stand out from the others. I wanted to try and improve it as much as possible, and I think I succeeded in this. The old design will forever be a classic, but I really enjoy how this new one looks. This was a rather simple design, but I really enjoy how it turned out.
But then finally we have the boys design specifically made for a poster. This thing is honestly beautiful. I wanted to do a Wagnertube sitting over a cliff on a sunset thing, and then I added in the boys, and then I decided to add in grass and trees. There was actually a tool on my IBIS Paint X software that allowed that, so I just edited it all in and it made it all much better. It actually looks like a kinda realistic setting. It's definitely one of the most beautiful designs I've ever made. Well, for our friend group at least.
The picture of the boys is so beautiful, man. Me, Basbo, Adam, and Wagner, bro. I'm about to cry, man. Oh, wow, so beautiful. Anyways, yeah, you owe me money.
Wait, what?
The next and final design I worked on is my favorite by far. This design was the hardest to make because not only did I have to design one character this time, but I had to design 6. Not only was making the characters extremely difficult, finding out the layout of where everyone would go was just as, if not more difficult than making the characters themselves. So I got to work immediately. This design took me about 3 days to get it to a point where I wanted it. Making all of the characters look faithful to the plushies Wagnertube had, but also original enough in a new kind of style I developed for these posters was really challenging, but also really rewarding at the same time to watch them come into fruition.
And yeah, those are the designs I made. And thank you, CJ, for making your designs. Those were absolutely phenomenal. Well, thanks for having me. I must return to my dimension.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, anytime Wagnertube leaves a channel, he just devolves into whatever that was. So that's some canon lore right there. Write that down in your lore journals. What am I doing? I just want to give a huge thanks to Wagnertube for allowing me to help out on this project. I had so much fun, and I'm so glad we were able to do a collaborative attempt together. Wagner's one of my greatest friends, and I'd like to say all of you need to go subscribe to him right now and go buy the merch. It'll really help him out. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really appreciate you sticking to the end. And, well, go check out Wagnertube's merch. There's a link in the description. And, hey, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment if you feel like it. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.